Part 1. Before you finish your first sentence, people have already decided how seriously to take you, not because of what you said, but because of how you entered the moment. Most men don't realize this. They believe confidence is proven through clever words, through strong opinions, through explaining themselves well. They are wrong. Confidence is judged before language begins. It happens in a moment so fast you never consciously notice it, but everyone else does. That moment determines whether people lean in or quietly lose interest. Today, you'll learn what actually happens in that moment and why calm men control it without effort. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Human beings do not listen for meaning first. They listen for signals. Signals of calm, control, stability. Your nervous system speaks before your mouth does, and people feel it instantly. Most men think attraction and respect are earned during conversation. They're not. They are granted or denied before the first sentence is complete. That's why some men speak briefly and still dominate a room, and others talk endlessly and remain invisible. The difference is not intelligence. It is not confidence as a personality trait. It is how their presence arrives. There are 3 signals that decide everything in those first seconds: your breath, your voice entry, and your stillness. Miss these, and nothing you say afterward fully lands. Master them, and even simple words carry weight. Signal 1, breath. Watch a nervous man before he speaks. His breath is high in his chest, quick, shallow. Sometimes you hear it before you hear his words, a quiet urgency, a subtle instability. That breath tells every nervous system in the room one thing: this man is reacting. Reaction is not authority. Reaction is submission to the moment. Now observe a calm man. His breath is low, slow, almost unnoticeable, not because he trained breathing techniques to impress anyone, but because his body is settled. Before he speaks, the room already relaxes around him, and relaxation creates trust. This is why people often say things like, "he just has presence," or "I don't know why, but he feels confident." They are not responding to personality, they are responding to physiology. Here's what most men get wrong. They try to sound confident by forcing their voice lower. They tighten their throat, they hold tension. That never works, because tension is audible. You cannot fake calm to a nervous system that evolved to detect danger. Calm is not added, it is revealed, and breath is the first place it shows. Signal 2, voice entry. This is where authority is either established or quietly lost. Listen carefully to how most men begin speaking. They rush their first word. They jump into sentences. They speak as if they are interrupting, even when no one interrupted them. That entry sends a signal louder than their words. I need acceptance. This is subtle, but devastating. Because people do not consciously judge it, they simply feel less inclined to listen. Calm men do the opposite. They pause before speaking. They allow silence to exist. Not an awkward pause, a grounded one. Then they speak, not louder, not deeper on purpose, just slower. That pause does something powerful. It tells the room, I'm not in a hurry, I'm not competing, I'm not seeking permission. Silence, when owned, is dominance without aggression, and dominance without aggression is what people trust. This is why men who speak less often are remembered more clearly. They don't fill space, they occupy it. Signal 3, stillness. Now watch the body. Nervous men move constantly. They shift their weight, adjust their clothes, gesture excessively. Movement leaks uncertainty. It tells observers, I am under pressure. Calm men are still. Not rigid, not stiff, simply unmoved. Their body language says, I am not being challenged by this moment. That message lands before any word does. This is why some men can say very little and still feel intimidating. Not threatening, not loud, just solid. Here is where most men sabotage themselves. They mistake energy for presence. They believe enthusiasm equals confidence. It doesn't. Uncontrolled energy feels chaotic, and chaos never commands respect. Presence is quiet, dense, unrushed, and people instinctively defer to it. Now listen carefully. Most men try to add confidence. They rehearse lines, they practice sounding assertive, they copy tones from other men. That always fails in the long run, because confidence is not something you perform. It is something people sense when nothing is forced. This is the rule you must understand before we go deeper. Confidence disappears the moment you try to manufacture it, but it emerges naturally when tension is removed. The moment people decide whether you're confident is the moment they feel whether you are forcing anything. and forced power is never respected. So what do calm men do differently? They do less. They slow their breath. They pause before they speak. They let silence stand. That's it. Simple. Not easy, but simple. If this already changed how you hear yourself, subscribe, not for motivation, but for mastery. And in the comments, tell me this. Which signal do you struggle with most? Breath, voice entry, or stillness? In part 2, we go deeper. We'll dismantle the habits that sabotage authority and show how to train presence so it becomes automatic. Stay with me. Part 2. If you understood part 1, you now see something most men never notice. Confidence is not proven. It is detected. And detection happens before effort. Now we go deeper, because understanding the signals is one thing. Training them under pressure is another. This is where most men fail. Here is the mistake that quietly destroys authority. Most men practice calm only when they feel calm. Then they wonder why it disappears the moment tension enters the room. Real presence is not built in comfort. It is revealed under pressure, and pressure exposes habits. Let's talk about the hidden habits that sabotage you. Not obvious ones, subtle ones. The kind you don't feel but everyone else does. Habit 1, filling space. Nervous men hate silence. When there is a pause, they rush to fill it. They add extra words, extra explanations, extra justifications. They believe silence makes them look unsure. The truth is the opposite. Silence exposes who is grounded. When you rush to fill space, you tell the room, I'm uncomfortable with stillness. I need approval. I'm afraid of being judged. None of this is spoken. All of it is felt. Calm men do not fear silence. They understand something most men don't. Silence transfers pressure. When you stop talking, the pressure moves to the other person, and whoever holds pressure controls the interaction. This is why calm men ask fewer questions, make fewer arguments, and still lead conversations. They let others speak themselves into clarity. Habit 2, over-explaining. This one destroys authority faster than almost anything. Watch what happens when a man feels uncertain. He explains his reasoning, he adds context, he justifies his decisions, he believes clarity builds respect. But excessive explanation signals doubt. Men with authority state their position. They do not defend it, not because they are arrogant, but because they are settled. They don't need agreement to remain grounded. Here is a hard truth. The more you explain yourself, the more people feel invited to challenge you, because explanation feels like negotiation. Calm men do not negotiate their presence. They speak, they pause, they move on. If someone disagrees, they allow it. Authority does not collapse under disagreement. In fact, it strengthens. Habit 3, emotional leakage. Most men believe they are hiding their nerves. They are not. Nervous energy leaks through. Faster speech, rising pitch, excessive movement, forced smiles. You may not notice it. Others do. And once it's felt, nothing you say fully lands. Calm men do not suppress emotion. They regulate it. They feel tension without reacting to it. That is the difference. This is why emotional restraint is one of the most attractive masculine traits. Not because it is cold, but because it signals safety. People relax around men who are not ruled by impulse. Now let's talk about training, not theory. Because reading this alone will not change you. Habits change through exposure. How calm is trained. Calm is trained by delaying reaction. That's it. Not affirmations, not pretending. Delay. When someone challenges you, wait one full breath before responding. When someone asks a question, pause before answering. When tension enters the room, slow your body first, not your words. Your body leads, your voice follows. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. Your nervous system is used to reacting quickly. That discomfort is not danger, it is adjustment. Every time you delay reaction, you weaken the habit of nervous urgency. And over time, calm becomes automatic. This is why men who have faced real pressure often feel grounded without trying. They have learned that not every moment requires a response. Why this changes attraction and respect. Now we connect this back to the deeper question men are afraid to ask. Why does this matter socially? Why does this affect attraction? Because people are drawn to regulated energy. A man who controls himself feels safe to be around, not safe as in weak, safe as in solid. Women feel this instantly, not because of logic, but because emotional regulation signals stability, protection, leadership. Men feel it too. They defer, like they listen, they adjust their tone. This is why calm men are rarely disrespected, not because they demand respect, but because nothing about them invites dismissal. The final principle. Now we return to the principle I asked you to hold. Power is felt when nothing is forced. Read that again. The moment you try to appear confident, you give away real confidence. The moment you try to dominate, you reveal insecurity. The moment you stop forcing anything, authority emerges. This is not acting. This is subtraction, removing, rushing, explaining, reacting until only presence remains. And presence is not loud. It is heavy. It settles into a room before words arrive. If this shifted how you see yourself, subscribe. Not for noise, not for hype, but for discipline. And comment this below. What habit do you need to remove first? Filling space, over-explaining, or reacting too quickly?